Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler, and today we will be talking all things Sonoma and all things SVG. So I thought it would be a perfect time to bring out my Trackhouse hat after Shane Van Gisbergen, or SVG, has won his second win of the season, the eighth of his career. All have come on street courses and road courses, and this is his second year in a row he has won at Sonoma, and he is now actually one away from tying Jeff Gordon, who is the all-time leader in road course wins at 9. Now, SVG will not be breaking this record this year or tying it because Sonoma was the last road course of the year. Man, this brings me to like 2016, 2017 vibes when you would run Watkins Glen and Sonoma and that was it, and you'd be done by like August, and then there was not another road course for the rest of the year. But it's still June, and we're done with road courses and street courses for the rest of the year, which is absolutely wild. But now SVG, we'll see what he does for the rest of the year, and can he make the chase? That's the most important thing for that team to think about for now. So now let's look at our top 10 and maybe talk about if SVG and some of the challengers he actually had this weekend. It was kind of wild to see. First place was SVG in the car number 97. Second place was Chase Briscoe, who was actually catching SVG at the very end of the race. You could say him and third place Ty Gibbs probably had better cars than SVG, but once again SVG just showed his raw God-given ability. I mean, he never made a mistake in that final run, while Briscoe, who was desperately trying to catch him and pass him, made quite a few mistakes, missed at least turn one and missed a couple of turns those last couple of laps. But Ty Gibbs probably had the best car, but instead of flipping the stage, he went for stage points, which in the end that has helped because now he is fourth in points. He once again has jumped Kyle Larson and has roughly an 18-point lead ahead of Kyle Larson. So that ended up working out somewhat, but they weren't able to get the win, and Ty was kind of frustrated about that he maybe not 100% went with a strategy that would put you in really good position to win the race. But I mean, Shane Van Gisbergen's still Shane Van Gisbergen, so Shane might have had a challenge with Ty, but it wasn't really. We'll never know. Speaking of Kyle Larson finishes in fourth place. Another top 5 for car number 5. He has had a phenomenal summer so far. Honestly, he has run top 5 every week since the Coca-Cola 600 and has finished top 5 outside of Nashville, where he had a flat tire on the final restart. Fifth place was Christopher Bell in car number 20, which I have no idea how he wasn't even able to finish all the laps at San Diego because of his wrists. And here he comes to another left and right turning racetrack, and he finishes top 5 with that fractured wrist. It's pretty impressive. Sixth place is Ryan Blaney. He has always been the best Ford, it seems like, every week. He actually needed medical attention after the race. He got hot, but they gave him IVs and he was all good. Seventh place, finally a top 10 for our kid Connor Zilic. He's had just an absolutely horrendous rookie campaign, a lot of bad luck, a lot of accidents, and now he can finally just have a good run, qualify top 10. Eighth place, Ryan Preece. I feel bad for Ryan because his bracket opponent was no other than Shane Van Gisbergen. But he still finished top 10, gave it a fight, but unfortunately Shane came out of the better hand. They were hilarious on X, by the way, both Ryan and SVG. Ninth was Michael McDowell, who was pretty disappointed with a top 10 run, qualified top 5. You easily think he can be a top 5 driver, top 3 at these tracks, but he finishes ninth. And, you expect a little bit more out of that 71 team, especially on road courses. And 10th was Alex Bowman. I feel like, man, Alex has just struggled so much this year. We know he's dealt with some health issues early on, but another top 10 for Alex, and talk about a bracket buster with him. We will get to that in a second. But let's look at the points, because I think the points have gotten very interesting in the Cup Series, especially on the bubble. That's right. SVG, who was out of the top 16 after San Diego, is now in. He is 36 points ahead of the cut line. Poor Eric Jones, which you know that the road courses are not his forte, ends up dropping out. He is now 12 points behind the cut line, but I still expect a lot out of Eric. It's going to be very interesting to see. Brad Keselowski's 18th in points. Allmendinger is 19th in points. And even though at Sonoma, learned from Chris Wright listening to Door Bumper Clear that he had a broken toe link, that's why he wasn't a contender for most of the race. I think he finished 16th. Look it up real quick. Yep, a 16th place finish for AJ Allmendinger, but he's still top 20 in points, and he jumped Joey Logano, who is now 20th in points. That's wild to say for a three-time champion to be 20th in points. Now let's look at the brackets, or well, at least my bracket, because NASCAR officially posted today that there are 0 perfect brackets left, and I think I will show you why. Alright, so at least for my bracket, yes, I called it the Lucky Larson bracket. Go Kyle Larson. The big upset was poor Tyler Reddick. Number 1 seed lost to the 32 seed. Tyler Reddick had a power steering pump fail, lost multiple laps, ended up finishing last. And to make matters worse, also lost the point lead. That's right, Denny Hamlin has officially caught him, and he's ahead by 1 point. It was 2, but Tyler Reddick, I guess, ran the fastest lap of the race, so now it's 1 point. So you never know where that 1 point can get you. The other brackets that I lost, I had Daniel Suarez beating Ty Gilliland, and that unfortunately did not happen. Now this one kind of stung. Chase Briscoe over Allmendinger. I went with Allmendinger because after his really good run at San Diego and them starting to figure out more on the road courses, you thought he would run good. And Chase Briscoe's been very quiet this season. He's had a couple of good runs recently, but overall has been fairly quiet. Briscoe got second in the race, and that killed my bracket. I knew that was kind of stupid, but all good, all good. Again, nobody's perfect with the brackets. And the other one I got wrong, which, you know, hey, it's good to get proven wrong. I had Ross Chastain going over Christopher Bell. And while Ross qualified top 10, but was just very quiet, very for the race. And Christopher Bell made a heck of a run, heck of an effort at Sonoma with his fractured left wrist. But that's the only 4 I got wrong. I went 12 out of 16. That's 75%. I'll take it, you know. And let's get into the O'Reilly series, which is same story, we'll say. So with the O'Reilly Auto Parts series coming to Sonoma again, well, just same song, different melody. SVG absolutely put on a show and absolutely dominated. And nobody was even close. Could Connor have made something? Could Connor have been close? Sure, but man, he was behind the whole race, whether it was in qualifying, having a flat tire, whether it was having a speeding penalty during the race. I mean, nobody was even close to catching SVG. Top 5, you know, there are 2 surprises at the very end, but the top 3 I think we are not surprised by. SVG was first, Connor Zillage was second, and Brent Cruz was third. But how about the rest of the top 5? 4th place was Anthony Alfredo, and 5th place was Parker Retzlaff. How about Viking Motorsports? The last couple of weeks, they have absolutely unloaded some great race cars. A little bit of insight from Door Bumper Clear. Those were some old Colic road course cars that AJ Allmendinger won about a half a dozen races in. So, you know, they're pretty good race cars. But man, as Viking Motorsports absolutely turned it around. And as we look into the O'Reilly Auto Parts standings, now Parker is 61 points ahead of the cut line. And the 3 bubble cars, who would have thought, are all Joe Gibbs racing cars. Yikes. William Sawalich is out, minus 20 points. Taylor Gray is the bubble guy. Taylor Gray lost about 25 points on the last lap. He was running 4th and ran out of gas. I don't know what happened there. He was the only car that ran out of gas. So he lost about 20-ish points. And how about that? 2 guys who have won this year. Taylor Gray at Kansas. I was there to watch that race. And William Sawalich, who won at Rockingham. One of those guys might miss the chase. That's pretty crazy to say. But at least Taylor Gray got a contract extension. He is signed for 2027, a 1-year extension. So at least that's good for him if he misses. But wow, just who would have thought that these two young guns are not in the chase yet, or one of them's going to miss it. That is crazy to say. And Anthony Alfredo, listen, if Viking Motorsports is going to be as competitive they've been the last couple of weeks, which, unfortunately Alfredo got on that really nasty wreck with Sam Mayer, but was running top 5 the entire time. I believe he ran top 10, finished top 10 at Pocono. If that team really starts to figure it out, and you never know, there's 2 super speedway tracks in Atlanta and Daytona for the O'Reilly Series to go to. Does Anthony Alfredo make a run? We'll have to wait and see there. It's going to be very, very interesting. The last 2 races, NASCAR sanctioned races of the weekend, we had the ARCA Menards West Series that also was at Sonoma. Shout out to karting Trans Am Nitro Motorsports prospect Sam Corey, who got the victory. 1-2 for Nitro Motorsports. As shout out Mia Lovell, finished second. She ran competitive the entire race, did a phenomenal job, actually challenged Sam Corey late. And then the national ARCA Menards Series was at Elko in Minnesota. And our lovely little media darling, Max Reeves, took the victory after starting last due to a blown engine in practice. He ends up driving through the field and actually kept it clean until he raced Landon S. Huffman in the 28 car, and that got a little interesting. And then Max Reeves decided to unleash on Landon S. Huffman after winning the race. Landon S. Huffman was the other best car that made it a race between him and Max, but then his entire whole rear end went out. That was pretty wild to see on a oval, an entire rear end give out like that in the middle of the race, but it did. And that basically gifted the victory to Max Reeves because nobody else in that field was really coming close to challenging the 18 car. And now that is your weekend summary of everything that happened NASCAR-wise. And now we will look forward to the return of Chicagoland with the ARCA Menards National Series, the NASCAR Rally Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series 4th of July weekend. So stay tuned on that video talking all things Chicagoland.